Hello and welcome to Wolfman Gaming. This is my Dishonored 2 Complete Stealth Pacifist walkthrough, and this is mission 3, also known as the Good Doctor. And we have arrived at the Admire Institute, and we are looking for information about the location of Dr. Sokolov, who is also making his presence known in this game, and also it's optional to kill or investigate and kill the Crown Killer, which is a serial killer who ravages Karnaca. And this is quite a fun mission in my opinion. It's one of those missions where when I was recording this walkthrough I did some experimenting, I tried some new things. Because the route I took into the Institute, my first stealth playthrough, didn't work this time. So I started experimenting. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine on the phone and just dropped a quick save and tried different routes into the building. And this is by far the most consistent way I found to get in. So the first thing we're gonna do is head up to the roof. And that can be a bit tricky if you do it like I do and you play with just blink level 1. Because it is, even though it's an extremely overpowered ability, it can also be a bit limiting at some points, since the reach isn't that far. But I make it work. Sometimes you have to jump and blink, and sometimes you have to blink at the very peak of your jump. And that is one of those times where you have to release the blink button just before you reach the peak. And the best way I found into this institute is to just head up here on this little roof and over this vent. And this mission we're also introduced to elevators, which we are gonna use to travel up and down in this building. And elevators are a great thing. I recommend that whenever you travel in an elevator, blink up onto the roof of the elevator. Because on every floor there is one of these little holes in the wall. I don't know what you call it in English. Like a little door on top of the elevator, so you can sneak out of the elevator and no one's the wiser. So as you can see, I blink up onto the roof. And you see this little hatch. That's what it's called, a hatch. The limitations of not being born an Englishman or American. But I usually get the job done in the end. But we have learned that today. It's called a hatch. And we have gone into Alexandra Hypatia's office. She is an alchemist and also a doctor. And she may have information about Dr. Sokolov. So we're going down to her little laboratory where she cares for her patients. As soon as I get down into the elevator again. It can be a little tricky to manage to fall down a hole at times. But in a few tries I managed to get down and we can head downstairs into her office. And in this mission we're also introduced to a new type of enemy called the bloodflies. And bloodflies are giant insects that fly around hives. You can see them right in front of me. And they are a bit weird in how you trigger their aggressiveness. I think it's triggered, don't make any sudden moves and don't get too close to their hives. I recommend blinking around this room, because you can hear them buzzing. They are starting to get very agitated because I've got them close to their hive. But as long as you blink and don't make any sudden movements, you should be fine. They shouldn't attack you if you don't get too close to them. I hope, at least. I'm not 100% sure on this. But in my experience, as long as you take it really slow, they will not attack you. And if they do start attacking you, get out of there as fast as you absolutely can, because they will go through your life bar like a chainsaw through butter. And that's no joke, they are really aggressive if they start attacking you. And now we are in Dr. Hypatia's office. She is the inventor behind Hypatia's elixir, or whatever it's called, that refills your mana bar in this game. And I'm gonna talk to one of her patients that's recuperating on a bed. I think he's suffering from burn injuries. So we talked to him for a little while, and we realize that Dr. Hypatia is the crown killer. Really nice. She has injected herself with something, and that has made her schizophrenic. And she is, in one personality, she is a very nice doctor, always caring for the weak and the wounded, and her other personality is a ravaging psychopath. So we get out of her office, and depending on what you choose to do, you can unlock 2 trophies. I think you can decide to kill her and get the trophy. I think it's called the Beast Within. But if you spare her and go for getting the elixir to cure her from her schizophrenia, you get another trophy, which I can't for the life of me remember right now what it's called. But if you save her, you can meet up with her at the Dreadful Whale, your hub, the boat that that Captain Foster has, and if you talk to her there, you will get the other trophy for sparing her. But we need to find the cure for her schizophrenia, and the patient told us that the recipe for making the cure is in a safe. So I'm trying to get over there. I'm having a bit trouble getting out of this room because it can be quite disorienting. Wow, that's some correct English for you right there. It can be quite disorienting trying to get out of this room because it's a kind of circular corridor. But I managed to get out, and I'm gonna go down into her little office and open the safe. And I talked about in a previous video that the enemies can move a bit more random at times. I went out here because I was a bit unsure what I was supposed to do. But as I said, sometimes the enemies can be a bit random, and when you save your game and then reload your save, sometimes it moves the position of the guards, and you will see an example of that in this video. Because when I went into the office and tried to open a safe, at one point I got spotted and had to reload, and you will see one of the guards, his path and his position in the room suddenly changes in the blink of an eye. And that is because I had to reload my game, and that is something you always should be aware of when you're playing Dishonored 2. Because always save your game in safe positions. So we jump down here and open the safe. I think the patient was the one that gave me the combination to get in here. And I hate opening safes in Dishonored because it is so slow. It would be okay if you could turn the dials both ways. If we say, for example, the code is 397, if you could turn the dials the other way to reach, so to speak, turn them backwards, but you can't. You can just turn them in one direction. Like the boy pop band that was popular a few years back. I don't know if they're still popular, because as you may have noticed from my intro, pop music isn't my type of music. I'm more into extreme metal and doom and different types of rock. And I think this is the instance where you can see the guard suddenly move. Or at least it's coming up soon. But as a precaution, I'm gonna choke out both these guards. There's a male guard and a female guard patrolling here. And since I forgot to close the door into the little laboratory, she became a bit alerted. Remember what I said in my Dishonored 1 walkthrough? Always close doors behind you, because guards will react to anything that has changed in the geography. If you open a door and don't close it, yeah, here it comes. Look at the guard. Or is it? Anyway, if you open a door and don't close it, the guards will react to it. Now look at him. He's walking down there. And suddenly his position changes. And he walks a completely different path. Amazing. So always remember that it's not 100% reliable where the guard will be if you reload a game. So always save your game in a position where you know that you're safe, on top of cabinets or on top of air ducts or whatever. But anyway, I managed to choke out the female guard, and I'm gonna choke out this guard as well. And I'm gonna put them in this office, because I am 99% sure that no one patrols in here except for these two guards. But it's 99%. I'm not 100%. And also, to be really sure, I put them on top of this cabinet. And I'm gonna proceed to make the serum, or the elixir, to cure Dr. Hypatia. And what we need to make this serum, we need some fluids from a corpse. That's really nice. That is one disgusting thing to put in something you're gonna inject the person with. Oh my god. But anyway, I extract some body fluids from that guy and put it in this little medicine bottle, wherever it's called. Looks like it's made by a glassmaker who's got the hiccups. More or less. And we distill this little elixir. We start boiling it, and we can extract the essence that's gonna save her from herself and her split personality and make her a good person again. And another perk of that you get for saving her is that she, as I said, you can find her on the dreadful whale afterwards. And also in her cabin there's a box of like 8 or 10 of those blue elixirs that she has brought with you. And if you follow this guide, they will be more than sufficient to get you through the entire game. Because usually you don't need to use them so much. Usually you can wait for your mana bar to refill, but for those critical moments where you have to, or where you may have to make a quick double blink, it's great to have a full stock of them in your inventory. And also when you get out of that office, of course, be careful, because you can see there's a guard standing with his back turned towards the elevator. I think he may turn to the side at times and patrol back and forth. But now that we have the elixir, we're going back into Hypatia's little surgery room or laboratory or whatever it is. And once again we have to get past these blood flies. And it's quite interesting in this game because they have some new enemy types, except or in addition to these blood flies. I'm gonna talk a bit more about that when we get there, but it's a little bit like in the first game that they introduce one new enemy type per mission, more or less. Because there are some enemies that I don't know what they should be called, really. I don't know the official name for them. You can see it, blood flies chewing away at my life. It goes down pretty fast. But there are some kind of guys that look like almost zombie-like, and I think they can summon the blood flies. They walk around by the blood flies. And now, if you want both the trophies, I recommend you make a quick save here and wait for an opportune moment to go down and kill her, and then reload your game and take her out via the serum. And the way to give her the serum is sneak up behind her and go into a chokehold. And I got really lucky there that she didn't see me.
Not back to sleep.
But if you want to kill her, just press R2 for execution, or if you want to save her and give her the serum, just press R1 to choke her out, but instead you will see that animation where he gives her the injection. And now we have saved her, and it's time to head out of this place. But before you do that, go into this office. This is very important, and press this audio graph. You could see a little transition there, because I went out, started heading down into the elevator, and tried to get out of this place and back to the Dreadful Whale, and then I realized, wait, I forgot the audio graph. So I had to venture up through the entire institute once more. So make a note of that. Press the audio graph before you leave. And now the only thing that remains is to get out of here. And before you can leave this place, you can see me running out of patience. I was a bit annoyed that I forgot the audio graph first, but I have a health elixir, so I could take that risk. And we're going down to the bottom floor. But anyway, before Megan Foster can pick you up, you have to disable a spotlight. Almost like in the Dunwall Bridge mission of Dishonored 1. And that is a bit tricky in this game, because there are two guards just by the spotlight, or the watchtower I think it's called. And you're gonna have to wait for the best moment to get past them. And it can be a bit tricky at times. But the exit is here, just behind the elevator. So we head out into the backyard, and we're gonna venture past some guards to get to the watchtower. So what you do here is just blink up on this little speaker thing and lean out and go blink over to this guardhouse. And then we're gonna blink over this little gate and make an immediate left in behind the corner, so you're sure that they will not spot you. And now we just have two guards left that we need to get past, and this is the tricky part. This is the only real tricky part in this mission, or it can be very tricky. And what I like to do is that I just blink over to this rock and I wait for that guard over there looking out towards sea. Wait for him to make a left and start walking over to the side. And I'm gonna blink over to the watchtower. And a thing to know in this game, when you're leaning, you are not invisible. I think you were invisible in Dishonored 1 when you leaned, but here you can get spotted if the guards look in your direction when you do it. But we pull out the whale oil tank as they are both looking over to the left, and then we venture downwards because Captain Foster is heading our way, and as as long as you're quick to get down from the watchtower, they will not be able to spot you. As I clip on the little fence and head on downwards to meet up with her boat. So as soon as she comes in, just blink over to her boat. We got what we came here for, so we can
we leave this place
go on our journey to
now?
reclaim the throne of
Yes.
Dunwall.
Let's head out for the dreadful whale.
So you decide to head off into the sunset and onto the dreadful whale, and we get the mission screen, and you can see nobody's detected, no kills, no nothing. So I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video. So until next time, this is the Wolfman signing off.